What's up, everybody? It's the Dirty Sheets. We are coming at you with a preview to Fastlane. I almost said SmackLane because we're doing a preview to Fastlane and a review of Smackdown. See how that always goes together? Billy usually does a nice Smackdown by himself, this and that, but I was jerking off to Smackdown and I was telling him how great it was. So he figured, well, why don't we just fucking talk about it? I'm Cab Manning. I'm from the Lingus Mafia podcast, everything at Lingus Mafia, and I am with your number one source for all of your wrestling news. He is at Dirty Sheets X and at Lock Betting X. That is Billy Body.
Yeah, and as that conversation went on, he said, you know what? Like, why don't you just let me review SmackDown every week and you can take some weight off your shoulders and I'll start getting that done on Friday, or I'll watch that Friday, I'll put it out on Saturday, and you can just focus on Raw and the news. And I said, oh, that's really cool because like I hate doing all the shows by myself.
As soon as we get 50 people to sign up, Billy, not a problem. Oh, it's a tough business. So I mean, people fucking there's a group of people, but you know, you have your hardcores and stuff like that, and especially the way how goofy with Apple fucking signing up is, and how goofy fucking Podbean for especially Podbean.
Well, so the target number is double that, but I think 50 would have been hit easily if yeah, I mean, it's not that far off that. I mean, with the free trials and the people that didn't understand that Patreon, which you can't fucking find unless you tweet the link every single fucking day. So we're going to come off. I know a couple of guys already cancelled, and I'm just going to start making, I'm going to either put it on the Dirty Sheets Patreon, which I'm going to do temporarily for the next week or two, and then make a decision because we still got the old Patreon with no subs on it, which is the podcast on a poll one. So all I have to do a name change to Dirty Sheets podcast bonus shows, and just simply go over there, and that's a lot easier because you can also get a domain name for it. I mean, I think you can actually do that as well for the Patreon that we're using. But what am I paying for? Like, I'm paying a subscription fee for them to do absolutely fucking nothing, to have a page that's impossible to find. And Podbean is just shit in general anyway, because there's thousands of people listening to the show and they don't insert any ads into it because we don't pay them enough money to be on a tier where we can have ads. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, we have thousands of people, so we need to pay you $100 a month in order to have our ads placed. It doesn't fucking matter what we're paying. We're bringing thousands of listeners in. You can get your adverts listened to by a bigger audience. Like, what's this stupid $100 amount that needs to be paid? I'm not fucking paying it. Like, I'm already giving these guys $14 a month to do nothing. Now I'm paying them $40 a month for the Patreon as well, which is just a normal Patreon. It's like the same as the free one. So, and no one can fucking find it. So it's all a fucking joke. Yeah, and the clock is ticking down as well to when I can just stop doing this completely. He
says, ladies and gentlemen. I don't believe it ever. Well, I don't believe it for a minute.
So I say, but obviously before that happens. So when Roman loses, as I said, was a deadline, we'll have a look at our numbers. If it's not at the magic mark of 100 payers, then we will just explore what you wanted to do, which is putting our voices fully behind the paywall. Because one of the things this is doing is it's costing me money. And it's costing me money in a way that I'm very, very good at the sports betting side of things. I'm a lot better than people who are getting more opportunities than me. But I also don't make myself known and really go for those opportunities because I also do this. And once you get yourself a opportunity in different industry and these fucking shitbag losers notice that you are doing something elsewhere whilst you are still doing this, they will contact those people and say, this guy's homophobic. This guy did something racist. This guy's transphobic. And then those people will say, those people will start to very quickly weigh up whether you are worth, sorry, whether you're worth having on board based on the fact that you are new there and all of these losers are complaining about you working there, even though they're not sports betting people at all. They just want to get you cancelled wherever they can because they've never been able to cancel you so far, either in gambling or wrestling, because most of my gambling content is on my own platforms. So this is the issue that I have. Why fucking get a job with a major website or anything like that whilst I'm still covering this? So honestly, you say it's bullshit, it'll be a fucking relief. It'll be a fucking relief to just be able to turn around and go, you know what? You got nothing on me. You ain't got shit. I ain't even got a voice. You can't hear it. And if you're paying to listen and you want to complain about what you paid for, you're a fucking moron. That you're beyond fucking retarded at that point. If you're paying me money to see what you can complain about behind a wall. And that's the thing, like, it's also more unlikely that any kind of place you're working at are going to turn around and dig behind your paywall. They're much more likely to turn around and say, well, he's charging for this. It's very, very behind closed doors. So it's not like it's on the public domain and thousands of people can see it on YouTube. But anyway, plan A is to succeed at this. Plan A is for me and Cav to get back together in January, be doing the Dirty Sheets regular, be doing it where listeners can be involved in the show and ask questions. In order to do that, we need our YouTube videos to get watched. So the first episode of Wrestling Lists is available. I don't know how that isn't sinking into your fucking heads because the numbers for that are terrible. And a lot of people begged for that show to come out. So it's just bullshit like this. People ask and then they don't support. People ask for extra content and they don't support. So it's all heading to that point. And listen, I don't fucking care. I don't care. I don't really care. So it's just going to be a case of, if you want the show to continue, support it. That would be the ideal situation. Me and Cav doing the Dirty Sheets where people can participate whilst doing our paid shows, Wrestling List, Wrestling Informer, which is now available behind the paywall. Again, another show where people are like, when's the Wrestling Informer coming back? When's the Wrestling Informer coming back? It's out, shitbags. Go and subscribe to it because it's a fucking hour and a half show. You want it? Go and ask your parents for $6 and you can listen to the show and hopefully they'll give it to you. You'll get your pocket money this week. Just leave the basement and ask for $6 and hopefully they'll give it to you. So yeah, that's it. And as I said, don't give a fuck. It'll be a fucking relief.
So I'm tweeting out right now the link to Wrestling Lists. So if anybody wants to be able to find it easier than having to just go to YouTube and type in the Dirty Sheets and then click on the Dirty Sheets itself and then click videos and it'll be the first one there. You can go to Dirty Sheets X on X. And
let me tell you something about wrestling. I set this same Apple Podcasts up on the gambling side. And I know you were getting questions back and forth. And I thought, oh, fuck, I thought this would be really easy. Maybe it's not. Maybe not as many people have Apple Apple phones as I realized, as I thought maybe. They got an 87% market share. I set up this for my betting clientele 2 weeks ago. The betting side of things has 6 more people at a much higher price tier. It's double the price, and all it is bonus podcasts. And it has 6 more people than the wrestling one at double the price. And not a single fucking question about how to do it. Not one. Not fucking one. So it is a moronic fan base. It is a fan base full of dipshit. And it's it. That's it. I'll be dipshit free in April. I'll be fucking wanting Roman to lose. If it's Cody Roman, like, I'll fucking be there this year, dressed as Cody.
Begging for fucking Roman to lose.
Finish the fucking story.
Here's what I predict. We will get, obviously, Roman will lose the title, and then Billi will go, but now we're in a follow-up storyline to after he lost the title. Things are going on now otherwise. And we'll have to keep going. You'll go, no, but there's another story that is following this. How is he going to react to losing the title?
It doesn't matter what's going on. Like at the moment, we had The Rock come back. We got the big deal with TKO, a new TV deal with SmackDown going over to Fox. Jay Cargill's coming in. Women's division's looking better. Lots of stuff's going to be happening going into this Mania. Rumors about CM Punk coming back, and it's still not going to make any difference. I just want to sit back and enjoy it. The thing that's ruined wrestling most for me is the fans. Like, I don't want to be one of them. It's the same things when people turn around and they go, oh, when I was to go, hey, you stop the wrestlers, you're selling autographs. No, actually, like, I've fucking been collecting this shit for years and years and years. But never before did it have such a stigma around it where you see these smelly pigs hang around in airports, things like that. I've always done it one way, buy a hotel room. And I'm in my hotel. I have some stuff on me. And while I have that access around the hotel, I'll be able to get my bits. I even did this before I was rich. I did this like before I had a 6-figure annual income. I was still able to book a hotel in my very early 20s, before club nights, before Big Brother, before anything. Normal income, I still managed to book hotels. So I had a modeling income so it was still decent, better than what these listeners are making, but still, like it was still able to. I still did it the right way.
I'll have you know, they have a 4-figure income. Okay.
Yeah, and it's handed to them as some sort of disability benefit. I'm sure.
What's funny? They can find money to go pay OnlyFans though. They'll be sitting there whacking off in the fucking basement. But, I mean, there are the hardcores who pay to hear, wrestling stuff. And it is a fucking hell of an industry for making money when it comes to people want to listen to somebody's fucking thoughts on what the fuck happened. It's wild to me that people do. I mean, there's free shit all over the place. Obviously, a lot of things you listen to and stuff like that. But there are, you got to have a niche for certain shit, and I think we do here, as well as I have on my own stuff too, because it's completely fucking different than wrestling review shows. I think both of these shows are very fucking different. Before we fucking run out of time, Billy, like I told you would happen,
no.
do we want to do Fastlane first, or do we want to do SmackLane first? I might name the show SmackLane. Fuck.
Dude, SmackLane sounds like SmackLane sounds like where Darby Allin grew up, like some sort of road where his uncle would get smack and then go on joyrides.
Heroin Lane. Oh man.
Yeah, Heroin Lane.
Gum Road, is all Adam likes to say. I was fucking screaming about, I got to do the fucking AEW show because I was yelling on my show. The one thing that pisses me off most about this Edge shit, and he's still going to be Edge. I don't care what anyone fucking says. I'm like, oh, great. Adam's wrestling. Fuck. There's 12 Adams in this fucking thing. That's the problem, too. I saw a picture of everybody in groups according to having the same name. Have you seen that picture?
No.
Yeah, because you know how so many people have the same fucking name in AEW. There's, right. Multiple pages. There's fucking, it's all that shit. So a lot of cages, everybody. So now there's multiple Adams. But I'm like, I am so annoyed when things are just a lie. It bothers me. I know this is all fake, and I know it's, whatever. But Mr. WWE, growing up a Hogan fan and being at WrestleMania and being hardcore WWE, now he's telling Christian how their fucking hero was fucking Sting and how he was Lex Luger and Christian was Sting and they used to fucking do all. And I'm like, when the fuck was this? I'm like, what a fucking load. And then he tells Tony Schiavone, you were the voice of my childhood? What kind of fucking bullshit are you trying to fucking sell me? by saying he was a fucking WCW guy now. All of a
Well,
sudden,
that might not have been to do with watching. That might have been a case of when he was a kid, Tony Schiavone ran into Tony Schiavone and he said, "Hey kid, get in the van if you want to make it in this business." And that might have been what happened during his childhood.
it could have been your
That's
voice
probably
of
what
my
he was talking
childhood
about.
in my brain.
Your voice of my childhood. Hey kid, get in the van. I'll make sure you make it.
Me and Fausti said, "Oh, he must have only watched. He only must have had his voice in '89 when he was on SummerSlam, and that was it. Other than that, it was that was the only time he ever heard Tony Schiavone because he didn't fucking watch WCW. So, but do we want to do Smack? Fuck, I can't do it, Billy. I can't. It's SmackLane every fucking time. I'm trying to say Fastlane, and I cannot say Fastlane. Do we want to do, fuck it, I'll call it Great Balls of Fire. It's easier. Do we want to do that preview first and go over what matches there are? Because I couldn't tell you more than one fucking match, or two matches I think I know in my head that are going on.
Yeah, do SmackLane first. It's one road away from where Sonny was living. So, yeah.
At the halfway houses. So, all right. So what are we doing for matches for Fastlane here? Because we know the main event, of course, is I figured.
Oh wait, hold on. I thought SmackLane was SmackDown.
See, that's the, and you know what? When you said that, I was like, "Fuck, which one is it?"
Yeah.
I was worried. All right, we'll do SmackLane first, and that means starting with SmackDown. Boy, oh boy. I really fucking liked it this week. Like, I was impressed by how much I even tweeted, I said, far and away, SmackDown is the best wrestling show on TV right now. And
he did. He texted me saying, "I really like the show. I want to be on the podcast this week. I want to take it over." Like,
begging.
mean, that's how he ended up. No, he did actually say, "Yeah, I love the show."
Yes, I fucking did, because I said, shit happened for me, because you said, "Oh, I watched the first hour. I don't think anything happened." And I'm like, okay, of course we get our nice LA Knight thing coming out there, kind of like the old days where you get Rock or Austin come out, because he's in that same fucking tone, and talking shit with Paul, so you're getting the bloodline kind of thing involved, and since that's the pay-per-view match that's fucking coming, and he even has his prop where he pulls out a receipt and says, "I didn't fucking I didn't buy the bullshit that you just fucking sold me." And so we get that, and then we also get, which I have the problem with this bullshit brand split nonsense, because it's such fucking bullshit. It's as much bullshit as Edge saying you watch WCW. And so now Judgment Day's there, and they go, "Oh, they're allowed to go wherever they want. They make the rules for them, like they're rebels," and which I always just call NWO purple. I don't even call fucking Judgment Day anymore. And I love the fact that, like, they don't say it for a fact, obviously, but like Rhea's the fucking head motherfucker in charge of the Judgment Day, and then she's gonna fucking talk to Paul. So she wanks a deal with Paul, but we don't know what that deal is. I like that, and I like the whole fucking go in between of he's got to ask permission first by Roman, and she's like, "Fuck you, no you don't. I already said." And then she starts in with fucking acknowledge me and shit. That's good for me, man.
Yeah, I mean, what's it leading to though? Was Roman's back next week?
Yes, I love that. See, Roman's been gone for so fucking long that Jimmy's out of fucking control and going, "Well, he's not fucking here. We got to make a fucking choice. I'm here. Fuck it." And he's getting a little too bold, and we don't even know that he's back in because we have not had the confrontation of Roman saying you're allowed. And he's always doing shit like taking the microphone away and being fucking hot shit. So we got that to look forward to with Roman coming back next week and saying what the fuck is going on. They're fucking, we don't know what the storyline is with Judgment Day and them yet. So I like that. I don't like that. You don't need to give it to me all in the fucking same minute. I can wait a couple weeks to figure out things and see what's going on. I like give me a storyline. Everybody's now zero cliffhanger. Boom. It's over in a fucking day because pay-per-views are every 4 minutes. So we don't know what's going on until, like, in the end, they all joined up together, and then all the fucking good guys came out where I said, well, I guess that's Survivor Series. Wouldn't you think so?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's setting up something for War Games that can lead there. And Also, what it is that you got these groups over, Bloodline are over, Judgment Day are over, albeit constantly on TV. And then obviously the baby faces are over too. You didn't throw out Ching Chong Ding Along from China and
for no reason
to come
either.
And bolster, to come and bolster these teams like the other show are doing. Like that's the one where it's like really fucking okay. And then the crowd go nuts and it's like, okay, this is not for me because I'm disconnected to this. I'm not in on this. I don't feel that it was explained to me. They're not explaining it to me because the attitude of this company is that it's my responsibility to know what it is. And I'm not a big enough fan to them if I don't know. And yeah, it's all like, and in the end you arrive at, fuck you, I'm not doing the homework. I'm just going to skip the show. I'm not doing extra homework to enjoy wrestling. And this was a homework-free ending to the show. You knew who everybody was without having to go away and search loser videos on YouTube and waste your time. I mean, if you watch AEW, you have a lot of time, no doubt. But for people that don't, this is the show that is much more likely to captivate the casual viewer when you build off The Rock by having Cena on your television for 7 weeks. I don't think the Cena stuff has been great, but then when I watch him wrestle and I see that fucking gap in his back of his head, I realize this isn't prime Cena either. What's stupid
and
to me
needs to get a tan like Sting, for God's sake.
This guy had a semi-shaved head his whole career.
Yeah.
He gets a bowl patch and decides to grow his hair out so you can fucking see it.
I think it's more for movies, though. I think you're more marketable with extras. Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe, but if you had your old hair, I'm saying if you had your old hairstyle, no one even know.
You wouldn't, because he shaved it upward so high with the jarhead look. I could tell back in the day where you were like, I think that's starting to fucking go. But he would keep it fucking, cropped up there. But like I said, for movies, he's got to have a normal fucking comb fucking hairdo, which they then spray paint the back of his fucking head.
Yeah, but why are they spray painting? Why doesn't he get it done?
Oh, I don't know. Can you transplant the spot in the back, or is that only for the front?
No, of course you can. It's just hair, isn't it? It's just
it's hair from your spot.
It's hair from your ass. It's hair that they pull hair out of your ass and stick it in the because there's roots of hair on your ass. Well, you don't want those hairs there. So
well, I mean,
they pull them out there.
Do that smiley zipper in the back of your head, don't they?
Oh yeah, they can do that too. Yeah. What? You just ain't got fucking time to take.
I guess
take 6 weeks. I can't get 6 weeks off. I'm too fucking busy. Well, you'll be busier afterwards when you don't look like you have that piece of hair missing. But I thought it was obviously it is a pop generating ending. As I said, I kind of doubled down on not really knowing what you were talking about throughout the show, where you were saying this was any kind of standout show. I thought it was like a solid 7. But in modern day wrestling, if you can grade a show 7,
oh yeah,
and it doesn't bore you, and you don't have to watch it in 2 parts, and sometimes you have to watch things in 2 parts due to the way that you schedule things. Like if I already predetermined I was going to watch this at the gym, and unless I suddenly become a 2-hour cardio or 1 hour 20, because that's how long it takes to skip the ads, 1 hour 21 minute cardio guy, which I'm not, then you've already scheduled in the way you are going to digest the product, digest the wrestling for that day, which is how I now watch it. But that's due to scheduling, not due to the fact that I'm bored. If I sat down, there's been many episodes of Raw and Dynamite over the last year where I've decided, I've been sitting down watching it, got some food, whatever, and thought, you know what, give me a fucking break. I literally have stopped after an hour and put something else on. Break it up, episode of Seinfeld, or go outside, or get the gym done and watch some of it there, and just do an hour in different parts of the day, maybe even across 2 days, which is harder now because of that extra content we have to do. But this weren't that. This weren't a show where if I was sitting down and watching it at home, I would not have fast forwarded it or turned it off or played games on my phone or whatever. I mean, to a certain extent, there's always those bits in matches that don't resonate with me.
Mm-hmm.
Ray and Lappy was long, and
but stuff happened at least in there. So I mean, that's what I always think. I go, well, do I really give a shit about this? You know, with LWO, because they're all fucking jobbers except for fucking two of them, maybe. But there's a storyline at least.
Zelina had her tits reduced.
No, did she? I didn't.
I don't know. They were absolutely popping out like a while back, and they didn't look. And she had an outfit
like
on,
hard
like
before, right? Big rocks.
Yeah, they were out, and I think in that outfit they would have been popping like they were before, but they weren't. So I'm worried now because I really liked that look on her where she's like fucking 4'4" and just has stupid tits.
Yeah,
I was a big fan of that. Yeah,
there's a porno broad called CJ Miles. Have you ever seen her?
No.
Type that into your phone. CJ Miles, Asian broad. She's tiny little fucking thing, but she's got those fucking tits that do not fucking move at all. Like she's got boulder rocks on her fucking chest where they stuffed them into her skin.
CJ Miles was a native of Dallas. Miles was drafted in 2005 by Utah Jazz.
I promise it's not him. You go to YouPorn too and type in CJ Miles and you'll see. For everybody out there who's into porn from wrestling.
Chinese looking girl?
Yeah, of course. Asian broad.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, right? And they they pick her up and throw her around because she's 4'10" or whatever. You know, she's tiny. So they just pick her up and fuck her while they're walking. It's unreal.
Let's move on with the show because I have stuff I need to watch when I'm done.
No fucking Chinese massaging on this one. Anyway, so I'll reel off the list of what happened. You know, so the Charlotte and Asuka deal with Bayley and Io. I said, okay, this is the template of two enemies having to team up. There's always a mistake and someone kicks someone in the face or punches someone, right? And then there's a problem. Do you notice that Kenny and fucking Jericho have not had a fucking issue at all, and they're supposed to be like blood enemies? Like they haven't fucking accidentally hit each other or anything, and I'm like, I'm waiting for it. And I go, I know that's the normal thing, but that is the normal thing. But they're like, no, we have a common goal, and they haven't had a mix-up at all. So I'm like, okay, well, they did a fucking mix-up here on purpose. So we talked about the Mysterio Bobby deal and all that shit. I really like the team of Austin and Waller. I think they're fucking perfect together.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a step down from what Theory was doing before, and there's obviously been some sort of decision.
But it keeps them going.
Waller,
it keeps them doing stuff, and Waller needs something to do because Waller's just lost every fucking match he's had.
Yeah, and that's the thing in this situation where Theory's had that US belt and now it's gone over to Ray. And I think it might be used in that feud with Escobar when that actually takes off. I thought they might do something after their little match, but maybe later down the line that jealousy will brew and whatnot. Maybe it's more long term.
I figure Bobby takes it away from him.
Yeah, and that's what I think. And I did say that previously. I did feel like this group, because Roman has one belt, the ceiling for them was to take the tag titles and to also take the US title. Because you have, but then, when you're trying to build this group and you're building them with championships, that then holds those three belts hostage for a while, because you can see Lashley within this group having the US title for 5-6 months minimum. The same will be for the tag belts. You have the women's belt firmly, one belt firmly with Rhea. That's not going anywhere. Gunther's belt's not going anywhere in the foreseeable future. Roman's belt's not going anywhere. And I also don't think Seth's belt is going anywhere either, unless it's via a cash-in. So it can only really go to one other person. So it's either Seth or it's Priest. So all of these belts are tied up. And it does feel like to me that Io's belt and Rey Mysterio's belt, they are the only two champions in the company who are in any kind of jeopardy right now. And once Lashley takes one and once Judgment Day lose the other one, if they do lose it to Street Profits, then you just have that women's championship belt, which is on the line. But then even that, if you're building towards Bianca and Charlotte, which we talked about on Wrestling Informer, which you guys can go and check out, because that's where we talk about the Jade Cargill situation and how fucking incredibly bad at business Tony Khan actually is. And that's not an opinion. That's not an opinion. I reel off some heavy stats on there that make him look like a fucking moron, or a money washer. So either one, it's AEW's not business. So yeah, it's just a difficult situation with titles at the moment because of the way Triple H is booking them. I understand the whole let's not fucking hot potato these things and make them mean something, but also sometimes you need belts to change over. And as we sort of transition onto this upcoming show this weekend, I don't see any belts changing on this show. And I usually feel that way about most of the pay-per-views.
Yeah, I think this is just it's a show to have a show. And I laughed at it, the name of it's Fastlane, which was the Fastlane to WrestleMania. And now it's just fucking October.
Do you think it's a bad look if Rollins doesn't main event any shows that Roman's on, and now if he doesn't main event a show that Cena's on? Do you think that's a bad?
I mean, it shows that this fucking belt is a fucking something for people to look at and pretend it means anything. That's that belt has given me a fucking hassle ever since I fucking saw it. It's. I don't fucking like that. And I know I'm one of these fucking people that's, oh, fuck, like I'm complaining about shit or something. But I'm like, there should be one fucking champion in the fucking company. I understand NXT could have a fucking championship because they're really a brand split. That's like insane when you see anybody else fucking from there. And usually, if it's like guys from the upper can go down there for an appearance, that's fine. You don't really ever see. I mean, Dragon Lee is the fucking most we've seen of somebody that's been, showing up. Like Tiffany was in the crowd. She hasn't like been on Raw and having matches or anything like that. So it's very much a fucking split where they could have a fucking title because that's its own company kind of. But don't give me the fucking, oh, well, Roman's not around. Well, guess what then? If this is such a fucking problem for this company where they're like, we need a champion on TV, then take the fucking belt away from Roman. If you have such a fucking hard-on about you need to have a title on TV, then do what's best for your company and don't have a guy who's a part-time guy have the fucking title. But instead they go, well, now we could have a fucking another title on there that means something. Guess what? You have a fucking title that means something. It's called the Intercontinental fucking title. It looks like shit, but it's a fucking name. If they went back to the old-looking fucking title, it could be their fucking main title while Roman has the other one. And with the fucking streak that Gunther has, that's another reason why they have this other fucking shit title. Because they don't want... they're like, oh, people need things moving around. Like they can't fucking handle somebody holding a belt for a fucking long time, which makes it worth fucking something. Who do you think takes that fucking belt from Gunther? Because I was thinking... it's got to be fucking like LA Knight has to fucking take that title, right?
Well, LA Knight's not on that show.
Well, listen, we know goddamn well. He showed up on Raw before. He could just fucking do whatever he wants. They fucking all do whatever the fuck they want. They'll go, it's better for him to be over there. And he'll fucking go.
Yeah. First of all, you can give... I don't know whether this is me being old and then me kind of being at that age where I'm now that guy who says in the good old days.
Yeah, that's how I felt when I said that too.
My day, but I don't think you can make him the champion as long as you want. I would still prefer when the Honky Tonk Man had it for a while, and I would still prefer it when Savage had it for over a year too, because I think it meant more.
Yeah,
it really meant you were a stepping stone to something. It used to main event shows. There would be 2 house shows, and the Intercontinental title headlining was perfectly acceptable. Tag belts meant more as well.
Yep.
The Intercontinental belt has suffered so much damage and has been used as such a hot potato belt that coming in and manufacturing this push and manufacturing this long title reign doesn't mean that he is among the all-time greats. Or it, to me, it's just a statistic, and in wrestling, statistics mean nothing because the statistics are predetermined. He didn't really win the Intercontinental belt, and he didn't really go past Shawn and Savage and Razor and Jarrett and Honky Tonk Man and all these people. Like he didn't. That didn't actually happen in terms down to skill and whatnot. So for me, it's the Intercontinental belt would always be down to who I see with it and who it did the most for. And the people who really used that belt correctly wasn't actually Honky Tonk Man. He actually was just someone that you wanted to get beat. So he was the complete contrast to Hulk Hogan, where you all wanted to see Hogan win. Well, we're using our other belt where you just want to see the guy lose. And he sneaks out. So the perfect kind of the dichotomy between Hogan with one belt and Honky with the other is the absolute peak of WWF. Absolute peak of WWF, where Honky had one and Hogan had the other. So that's my opinion on that. And shit, I forgot what I was going to say.
How about that for the next list show? Top 10 IC champs and why? Because that was my belt. Man.
Oh yeah.
I fucking love that damn belt.
And that's the thing. So that can be the show, but already off the bat, I'll tell you that other than Honky Tonk Man, who had a different reign, and that, as I said, that was kind of was a good way to highlight the difference between the two champions, two very different champions in the company, along with I think the Hart Foundation having the tag belts, Hart Foundation, then Strike Force, and then Demolition. It was Bulldogs, then Hearts, then Strike Force, then Demolition. So they were the four champions that had the titles from 85 to 88, and they all meant something as well. So yeah, I think that's the golden period for belts meaning the most. But after that, you have to look at the people who use the Intercontinental belt correctly. They used it to be prepared to be world champions, and the ones that stand out are Shawn, Bret, Savage, Randy Orton, and The Rock. They are the five who use their Intercontinental title runs in order to carry themselves in such a way where you said, oh, Bret can be the WWE champion, Shawn can be the WWE champion, Rock can be the WWE champion. Probably the biggest example is Rock. Savage can, and so can Randy Orton for sure, who had a long run that no one talks about for some reason.
Who's your favorite of all time? I'm guessing, I have a guess who your favorite IC champion ever was.
I think it's different really to what it probably was as I was growing up, because the kind of generic answer is that a lot of people, when I the period where I started watching wrestling, I always looked at Hogan as the WWF champion and Mr. Perfect as the Intercontinental champion.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way anymore because Perfect wasn't catapulted off that belt. So I now look at it as I now look at it as Savage being the best Intercontinental champion. The combination of having it for over a year and using that reign to show the company that you can be the world champion while Hogan goes and makes a movie. I think that makes him number one. For reigns that I've actually lived through and experienced, then it would be The Rock.
Really? I thought I was totally thinking you're going with Bret.
Bret is actually Bret is actually, we should save this for the show, but actually if you're a proper historian and know your stuff like I do, the Intercontinental title reigns of Bret Hart are not impressive. He won the title he had big matches with the Intercontinental title. His match with Perfect in 91 was the match of the year, but he lost the belt to the Mountie just before the Royal Rumble. So that is only a 4.5 month period. Then Bret wins it back from Piper, and because they cancelled Bret and Shawn in Washington and do SummerSlam at Wembley Stadium, he then loses it at the very next pay-per-view. So Bret's Intercontinental title runs were barely getting past one pay-per-view. So you're looking at a 4.5 month run and another 4 month run with a combined time holding the Intercontinental Championship of 8.5 months across 2 reigns. That isn't an all-time great champion, although it did what he did with the belt did elevate him the highest, because he had the match of the year in 91 and had the match of the year again in 92, all Intercontinental title matches. And those 2 matches are 2 of the most, if not the 2 most famous Intercontinental Championship matches of all time, just beneath the ladder match, which is obviously number 1. And again, when you look at the fact that Shawn and Ray had a ladder match for the Intercontinental title, and then you tell me Gunther is the greatest Intercontinental champion of all time, it's actually not true, because he could never main event a pay-per-view or even have a match on a show where it has that kind of longevity. And that's proven by the fact that this guy literally had the fucking best match at WrestleMania Night 2. And we are here on this show right now, and we probably barely remember it by now, because we are so oversaturated with content.
I'll say to you, who? Oh yeah, it was a 3-way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was gonna say, who did he fight? I don't even remember. I'm gonna. There you go. Well, I mean, I can't do that nowadays anyway. I used to be able to tell you every fucking title and how it was lost each time they fucking moved on to another guy, but those days are long fucking gone. I'm gonna speed through the Fastlane matches. All you're gonna tell me?
We're gonna speed through. Yeah, we're gonna speed through here, because over on the Lock Betting podcast, we're actually gonna do a betting preview, so we can talk about it more extensively. But I know some guys don't like jumping over, so let's just breeze through, give a winner, give a sentence.
That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna give you the match. You're gonna tell me who wins, and we're going on. Ready? Start with the World Championship, Rollins and Shinsuke. Who wins and how does it end? Like, Seth will win, but how? By pin? He just pins him? Uh-oh.
I think...
There he is.
Oh, I'm back. Yeah, okay. Rollins wins because Shinsuke can't answer the 10 count. And my main level of intrigue here is just simply down to whether this is on last or whether they go with Cena and LA Knight. Because I think it has to be bookended. I think one goes first, one goes last. Because now first... in modern day pay-per-view, first is actually the second most important match of the night. That's Triple H's philosophy, from what I can gather.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean, it's the get you going, right? So you get yourself going. How bad is it that I didn't even remember it was 10 count? Go ahead.
Do you want the traditional main event? Do you want a traditional main event slot, or do you want to have the loudest crowd? Because a big match starting automatically gives you the loudest crowd, because all the crowd because people are conditioned that the card builds up in a structured way, where you get something like some sort of fast high flyer match to open, and then you get like your second most important match somewhere in the middle, like match 4, and in the main event's match 7. Now they're conditioned completely differently. So still, when you hear that music for the opener, or when it gets announced, people are like, "Oh my god, this is first," and that works, and it does like a Triple H-ish approach. But that's what I'm most interested in. But I think Rollins wins, and I think Cena and LA Knight both win as well. So either one can close or open.
Yeah, and I'm 100% saying Cena, LA Knight are the main event by far. All right, we'll go on from there. Undisputed Tag Champion Judgment Day versus Cody and Jey Uso. Judgment Day obviously keep these fucking belts. So how does it fucking happen?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure they do keep the belts. I guess it depends what they have in store for the future. We did just see a quick hot potato change with Dominic Mysterio, so that could be done here. And don't be surprised if this opens the show and Cody and Jey win, just to give you that hot start anyway. Because one thing you can't... This pay-per-view seems very chucked together, but then what they've thrown together is likely to get a decent crowd response, because they got everybody on here. If you look at a collage of the show and you're looking at the fact they managed to get one champion in on Rollins, and Judgment Day are all going to be there, whether Rhea Ripley's in a match or not. Cody's on the show, and John Cena, and LA Knight at his peak, along with that bloodline presence as well. They've done a good job getting everybody on. Yeah, I think if they do lose, I don't know what they can really do, whether it's going to be a miscommunication from Jay and Cody or not. Maybe something happens here where Drew McIntyre costs him the match because he seems to be having digs at both of them in promos.
That is true.
But I don't. Yeah, but I don't know.
Women's Championship, Io versus Asuka versus Charlotte. I think Io will continue to keep this belt, which makes Asuka and Charlotte have a fucking match because they'll bounce into each other. They'll bang their heads off of each other and one of them will get rolled up.
Yeah, it's interesting that Jade Cargill is in Indianapolis tonight and is supposed to be on Raw because there's no Raw women's match here. Even though they've gone very hard with Nia and Raquel Rodriguez and whatnot, nobody's actually on the show. So the only women that you have are these women. So it's maybe she's just there to watch or whatnot. I have no idea. But
is she going to be in the crowd? Maybe she's in the crowd doing that, sitting in the fucking seat thing. You know how they like to do that.
Maybe they just need to. Maybe they're just going to show what a pay-per-view looks like when people say, "Oh, look,
there's people in the seats."
There's people in the seats. That's normal. We don't hire seat fillers. Should be incredible. But yeah, I think in this match, Io does win. I think we're heading towards something with Bayley because Bayley's Japanese is not good, and get her in a triple threat match. So yeah, I think that she'll still win because there's legs in the story. But ultimately, I think we'll get to Charlotte Bianca in some sort of way. I wouldn't be surprised to see Bianca making her return tonight. She's had a little holiday, and I know she's going to a UK tour over here. So I think she'll be back very soon.
I think she should be with the Black Excellence group. I'm waiting for that. LWO versus Bobby and the Street Profits. Who's the third man for LWO? Which one of the fucking jobbers do they fucking use?
No idea. I think, obviously he probably would have called Edge and Edge said, "No, I'm sorry, I've made a horrible mistake. At least I'm getting paid." And then I think that only leaves, maybe it's that, I can see it being massively disappointing and it just being that Dragon Lee.
You know what? You're right. He needs to fill in because the other guys are fucking dead. You're 100% fucking right. I'd put money on it. 100%.
That would if you're going to do mystery partners, it really shouldn't be that. I'm trying to think of any other Mexican or whatnot, or anyone that they can actually bring in who would generate any kind of pop. Perhaps Carlito would be the only other one I can think of. I think Carlito would be a good fit here.
That would be a good one, but I can't even imagine it. They're putting too much with fucking Dragon Lee and he's the next great luchador, all that bullshit, so I can't imagine they go anywhere other than, well, we got a fucking guy who will fill in, and they go, all right, great, whatever. I think that, and then of course I think the Street Profits win this fucking match too, right?
Yeah, they should do, unless we're going to build up more towards them. They don't have a Killer Instinct moment. But I think we already did that. I already complained about that on another show where I said that they already agreed to be with Lashley and they already showed a Killer Instinct. So why did they then have hesitation after already making the commitment? I didn't like that. It felt like just adding branches onto the tree for no reason, to be honest.
Well, you know what? You might be right about the whole thing because I'll bet you too. Maybe this is what happens on pre-show because that's all the matches, right? So the other thing would be, how about we get a tag team between Grimes and Dragon Lee versus the fucking Austin and Waller? That might happen then tonight instead. We might get that match, which means Dragon Lee won't be the fucking guy.
Yeah, I think I'd be surprised. I think you're looking at that Mexican Latino, that Latino field though. I mean, I'd laugh my ass off if it was Conan. He'd do it. He'd be there.
You're gonna wheel to the ring.
Yeah. Who else came into that match? Carlito, and who else interfered in that match in Puerto Rico? We're back. But there was another guy. He got good pop. I can't remember who it was.
You know what would be good is if it was what's his name Fucking Bad Bunny. That would be interesting.
Yeah, but I don't.
Yeah, there's no way they would promote that if that was the fucking case. But
yeah.
Yeah, who the fuck else came out there? It wasn't any of the fucking Lucha fucking.
Savio Vega.
Oh,
Savio
yeah,
Vega.
Savio. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he still looks exactly the fucking same, but well, they can't do that. But yeah, I mean, they haven't even said like, oh, this guy's hurt. We got to find a partner. That's not even been said. So, but anyway, well, that's that. That's our rundown. If you guys want to hear betting predictions and stuff like that, you're gonna have to go check out at the Lock Betting, podcast, and then you'll be able to see that. So, how are they finding that? Just type in Lock Betting wherever they find podcasts.
Yeah, it's free. Just type in Lock Betting. Yeah, and that's where our NFL show is as well. So you can use that when you're over there. Then you want to hear like the betting, more like in-depth predictions, and the actual betting odds as well. Then just subscribe there and you'll get the NFL show, which is making money every week. Obviously, there's a different version of that show this week, a little bit sort of more to the point version that we did this week.
Hour.
But yeah, it's.
I think it was 48 minutes.
Unbelievable.
It is. All right, kids, we're going to go over there. Tell a friend, sign up to fucking the Dirty Sheets for your fucking rundowns in wrestling. I'm Cav. He's Billy. We'll talk to you later.